my dear aspirants, welcome to Koshika, and this is Dr. Mansi Tripathi. So in this lecture, we will discuss about taxonomical categories. Now taxonomical categories are basically hierarchy of ranks. They are basically hierarchy of categories or ranks, right? Which means that organisms can be classified on the basis of their similarities and differences at different levels, like external similarities, external differences, then similarities in their nutrition obtaining patterns, similarities in their reproducing patterns, similarities in their hunting styles, on basis of different category, on the basis of different type of things. We can divide organisms, or we can put them into groups, right? We can put them into different groups, and these groups can be small and these groups can be large. In a larger group, obviously the similarities between its members will be less, and the more precise, the more concise we become, higher will be the similarities between the organisms in a group. Like for example, if I take a group of say your classmates, right? So person A, person B, person C. These are three people who are studying in class 11th, right? Now this is a group of class 11th, and this is class 11 section A. Similarly, there will also be a group which will be of class 11th section B, and maybe D, E and F are a part of this, right? So this individually class 11A is a rank, because out of these people, what is the biggest amount of similarity? The biggest amount of similarity is that all of them are of the same class, they are of the same section, they study the same subjects, they study the same subjects in the same timetable by the same teachers. So you can see there is a huge amount of similarity, right? On the other hand, if we compare these two, this is section A, this is section B. It might be possible that this is a science section and this is a commerce section. Or even if both are science sections, this might be a math section, this might be a bio section. Or if both are bio sections, then this might have different set of teachers, this might have different set of teachers, right? So this way we can see that within this group, the similarities are maximum. And as we compare these two groups, then they have lesser similarities, right? Now if we have class 11th as another group, and again we have class 12th as another group, right? Now class 11th and class 12th, they might be having the same subjects, they might be having the same teachers, but they have different syllabus. There are more number of dissimilarities and less number of similarities. Now as we move again, this is school A and this is school B, right? This school is a private school, this school is a government school. So what are the similarities? The similarities are that both of them are schools, both of them are up to class 12, right? But this has a lower fees, this has a higher fees, this is in a different locality, this is in a different locality. So when compared both of these, they individually have more number of dissimilarities and lesser number of similarities, right? So on this basis, we can see that as we keep increasing the size of our groups, the number of dissimilarities increase and the number of similarities decrease, right? So each individual, like here class 11 represents a rank or a taxon. Again, when we consider class 11, it again represents a higher rank or a higher taxon, right? Then again, when we move to school, school is a category which represents a further higher rank and a further higher taxon, right? So this is the meaning of ranks or taxon. Classification is basically a collection of all these taxons, right? Like if you consider a single organism, then from the lowest level, like from with the groups which which has the maximum similarity with that organism up to the groups that have least similarity with that organism. When we classify that, okay, it has so many similarities with this group, then lesser number of similarities with this group, lesser number of similarities with this group, then when we put all this information in a proper ascending or descending order, then that is basically classification. And these individual orders, like these individual steps, they are taxonomical categories, right? So now let's come to what exactly are taxonomical categories, like how do we name them? So we know that Linus was the person who has contributed maximum to taxonomy. That's why he is the father of taxonomy. So we can say that species, genus, order, and variety and class. Right. Now these were different categories or different taxon which were provided by Linus. After some time, this category of variety was dropped and new categories of kingdom, family and phylum, or in plants, division. In plants we call it division and in animals we call it phylum. So these three different categories were further added to the entire classification system. Now let's come to the order in which we put these different ranks or these different taxons. And don't worry, when we come up with examples, then it will definitely be more clearer, right? Let me make a table. First, it is kingdom at the highest level, right? It is kingdom at the highest level. Let me write over here first. Right? It is kingdom, then it is phylum, then it is class, then it is order, then it is family, then it is genus, and last it is species. Right? Okay. Now, one kingdom has several phylum. One phylum has several classes. One class has several order, and one order has several families. One family has several genus, and one genus has several species. Right? And how do we remember like the order? See, we have a very small and very simple poem kind of thing. It is King Philip came over for good soup. Right? King Philip came over for good soup. Okay. As we come down this staircase, the number of similarities between two organisms increases, right? If two organisms are part of the same species, then they will have more number of similarities, right? And if two organisms are part of the same kingdom, then they might be quite different from each other, right? And as we move up the staircase, right, we can say that it becomes more difficult to distinguish between two members of the same taxon, right? So one by one we will take up all these different taxon, and with examples we will understand how these different taxons are and how much are they different, how much do they share similarities, and how much do they share differences, right? Okay, So we'll start from the bottom. We'll start from species. Now, as we've seen that the species are ones which have maximum amount of similarities, which means species in size, obviously they are the smallest group, right? They are the smallest group, obviously. Only then they can share maximum similarities, right? And they are morphologically most similar they breed in wild. They breed in wild and produce fertile offsprings. Within a species, two organisms within a species do breed in wild and they produce viable or fertile offsprings, right? If two organisms outside species, if two organisms of two different species, they are crossed, then they do not produce viable offsprings. Okay, just before this, in the previous lecture, we had seen the examples of mules and hinny, right? Mules and hinny, both of them belong to different species and they do cross in wild, right? But they do not produce fertile offsprings. They do not produce fertile offsprings. However, tiger and lion was seen to produce fertile female offsprings, right? Which means that it is a contradiction. No, it's not. Why? Because here we've mentioned they breed in wild or breed in nature. They breed naturally, right? But tiger and lion do not breed naturally. We have obtained tigon and liger only when bred in captivity. Tigers and lions do not breed in natural conditions, right? So there is no exception to this rule. Okay. Now for species, the examples we can say Panthera tigris, Panthera leo and Panthera pardus. This is obviously tiger, this is again lion and this is leopard, right? Two tigers breed with each other naturally, two lions breed with each other naturally, right? But because here the species are different, this is species, so they do not breed with each other in natural conditions. Okay? Okay, now let's move to the next. Next we have genus. Genus are basically very closely related species. Okay, in the same example we can see that we have the common genus name, which means that all three of these, they belong to genus Panthera, right? They belong to genus Panthera, which means that genus Panthera has these tiger, lion and leopard as its members, right? But members within a genus, they do not breed in wild, right? Which means only the individual within a species can breed in wild and not ones above them, right? Another example which we have for genus is Solanum tuberosum. Again, Solanum melanogena, right? And Solanum lycopersicum. Here, Solanum tuberosum is potato. Solanum melanogena is brinjal, or what we call as eggplant, and Solanum lycopersicum is tomato. Now all these, they are different species belonging to the family Solanum. Belonging to the genus Solanum. Okay. Now next we have, as we move up the staircase, next we have family. Right? Now family, again we can say, are a collection of related genus. Okay? Family is a collection of related genus, and they are grouped according to their reproductive and vegetative features. Okay, right? Like we had that in the last, in case of genus, we studied this genus Solanum. Again, similarly, we have genus Petunia. We have genus Datura and several others, but these are the examples. See, in this portion, basically the questions come out of the examples which are given in NCERT. So you have to just mug up all these examples which I am showing here, because I've covered all the examples given in NCERTs, and this is the only part from which you can be asked questions, right? Okay, there's another thing which I would like to say. See, first of all, in NCERTs, like I've already mentioned in earlier videos also, you need to keep preparing a table. Start writing at the back of your copy or end of your notebook. You have to prepare a table in which whatever biological names you come across in every chapter, just keep adding to that list, right? So at the end of 2 years, you have a complete list of all the organisms whose biological name is important, right? See, because individually, if you try to remember, it's like there's no end to it. You won't be able to understand which is important, which is not. So you have to prepare a table. That table cannot be prepared in one day. You have to keep adding different names from different chapters to that table, right? So by this, without any effort, you will be easily able to memorize all this. Okay. So now these, they come under family Solanaceae. Okay. All these, they come under family Solanaceae. Similarly, we have genus Panthera. We saw genus Panthera. And again, genus Feli. Right? They together come in family Felidae, which is cat family. Okay? It is cat family. Next we have order. Again, closely related families are grouped together in one order. Like order Carnivora. It has family Canidae and family Felidae. It has other families also, but I'm telling this is easier to remember, plus these examples have been given in NCERT, right? So Canidae is basically dog family and this is cat family, right? And another example, we have order Polymoniales, right? And under Polymoniales, we have family Convolvulae. view, lay, see, plus family, solo, nay, see. This is sweet potato and stuff. Right? So I don't think there's much to explain in this. This is self-explanatory. The most important thing is that you have to remember these things. Right? You have to remember these things. The examples is directly, it's like the direct fodder material for MCQs. Right? Now we've come up to order. Okay. So next is class. So again, class includes related orders, right? So order Primata, right? And order Carnivora. Okay. They come under the class Mammalia. There are others also, but they come under the class Mammalia, right? They are all mammals. Okay. And then we have phylum, or in case of plants we call it division. And again it is related classes make up a phylum, right? It's on the basis of notochord or dorsal hollow neural system, right? Dorsal hollow neural system. What is notochord? It is basically primitive spinal cord. It is primitive spinal cord and dorsal hollow neural system, right? So when we consider the word dorsal and ventral, right? Both of these are two opposite terms, and if you know their meaning, then you can identify what a particular term or particular sentence means wherever we are using these two words, right? Like the frontal part of any organism is the ventral part, right? And the back side is the dorsal. So it says dorsal hollow neural system, which means like we have the entire vertebral column. There is a central hollow cavity through which the spinal cord passes, right? So that is a dorsal hollow neural system. Okay? And ventral means in certain cases the organisms, their whatever the central spinal cord or the primitive spinal cord, it might pass through the frontal part, which means it's passing through the ventral part. Okay? So now next we move to the final or the topmost part, which is the kingdom. And kingdom is the largest taxon, right? It is the largest taxon. And okay, we have different kingdoms which we'll see in next following chapters. So for kingdoms, all these they fall in kingdom Animalia, right? All these they form under kingdom Animalia, and all the organisms falling within a kingdom, obviously they have maximum dissimilarities, and it is very difficult to identify the similarities between two organisms falling within a kingdom, right? So here by we complete this portion of taxonomical categories. Next we'll come up with taxonomical aids. Okay, one more thing, there's a table in NCERT, table 1.1, in which there are few organisms like plants and animals who have been classified in different taxon, like their genus, species, order, family, all these have been given. So unfortunately there is no escape and you have to memorize the entire table because it's very important, because MCQs are directly framed from it, right? Previous year questions, if you go through them, you will find direct MCQs from this table, right? And in fact, there are already 4-5 categories given in this table. I'm sorry to say, but I have to increase two more organisms in it. One is horse and the other is elephant, right? So please add these two organisms to the already existing table 1.1, and let's go for genus and then species. Sorry, first we'll put their complete biological name. So genus and species obviously both come together in this. Next we have family, we have order, right? Next we have class and phylum too. We know all these phylums, they form because both of them are animals, so they come under kingdom Animalia, right? For biological name, for horse we have Equus ferus, okay. For elephant we have Elephas maximus. This is the Asian elephant, this one is the Asian elephant, right? For family we have Equidae, right? And for the family of elephants, Elephantidae, right? It is Perissodactyla, right? And it is Proboscideae, okay. Now class, both of them are Mammalia and both of them are phylum Chordata, right? Okay, I'll help you remember the table by very simple tricks for case of family, okay. This is Idae, AC. This is the suffix in case of animals and this is a suffix in case of plants. If you carefully examine the table, then you'll see that if a word is given and it ends with Idae, it means it's the name of an animal family, right? Similarly, for order, right? For order, in case of plants, fungi and algae, it ends with ales. In case of plants, fungi, right? In case of plants, fungi and even algae, it ends with ales, means ales is the suffix, right? For birds and fishes, iformis. For birds and fishes, it is iformis, it ends with iformis. And for animals in general, there is no such thing for animals, but I can, in certain cases there is a specific rule, so that way it can be easier, right? Okay, so hereby we finished this particular part. Next we'll come with taxonomical aids. So keep watching and subscribe to this channel if you liked the lecture. So stay safe and study hard. Thank you.